from heartofamother.net. Are you just getting started homeschooling or considering homeschooling for the first time? Today I'd like to share with you 5 steps I recommend for getting started. You can also find these 5 steps on my blog at heartofamother.net, and I included helpful links to resources to help you on your way. So let's go through the 5 steps. The first step is the most important, and once you start, you should never stop. It's to pray. Pray about your homeschooling decision. Ask the Lord to guide you. Ask the Holy Spirit to inspire your decisions, and He will. It's super important to include prayer in all of your homeschooling. Every year, every day, with all of your decisions. Because God does care. He cares about the sparrows of the field, and so He most certainly cares about how you educate your children and where the best fit is for your kids. So pray about it. If you're in the middle of the big decision of whether or not to get started, I highly recommend going to Mass and adoration and spend some serious, quiet time reflecting on homeschooling, not homeschooling, your family, and pray to the Lord for His will to be done for your family and for your children. And He will give you the graces you need to make the decision and will give you peace about the decision that you make. We'll talk more about finding and maintaining peace later on, but rest assured that you must pray about this decision and about this process and about beginning, or it's much more likely to be challenging and maybe even a disaster. Okay, step 2 is to identify why you want to homeschool and what your goals are for homeschooling. No answer is wrong here. There are no wrong answers. You just need to figure out what is it that's motivating you and your husband. Hopefully he's on board. Hopefully he can give you some input. But make a list, write it down. Why are you homeschooling? Are you homeschooling because you want your kids to have a Catholic education, but you can't afford Catholic school? Are you homeschooling because of a family circumstance or an illness or a pandemic? Are you homeschooling because you've always dreamed of homeschooling and this is your lifelong goal? Are you homeschooling because you want your kids to have higher academic standards than they would in the public schools? Are you homeschooling because you have a special needs child who needs you to tailor the material and the progression to their needs? Think about all these reasons, think about all your goals, and write them down. Write down your why do I want to homeschool. And think about your goals too and what you want to accomplish, because the reason why you want to homeschool might not actually be the end result, right? So we can start homeschooling for a variety of reasons, but what do we want to accomplish in our homeschooling by the end? And that's the goals part. Sarah McKenzie says it really well in her book, Teaching from Rest, to imagine what you want your child to say when they grow up, when they leave your home after having been homeschooled. How do you want them to have described their homeschool journey and their homeschool education? And so what are your goals? We always say, it's more important to get our kids to heaven than to Harvard, but maybe Harvard's your goal too. Write those things down and it'll help you make the decision and it'll help you make the right decisions as far as curriculum and scheduling and opportunities for your children. So that's number 2. Number 3 is super important. Find out the laws in your state and look them up on a legal website. Please don't ask your neighbor. Please don't ask the homeschooling mom down the street or at church, unless you also look them up for yourself, because there's misconceptions and misunderstandings. Make sure you look them up and read them for yourself. hslda.org/legal is a fantastic resource for finding your state's laws and how they read as to what your reporting requirements are, what your teaching requirements are, as far as attendance or subjects or any evaluations that you might need to do. So please make sure to look up the laws for yourself, and then you can ask all those other people how to interpret those and how they make that happen in their homeschool. So the third is the laws. I want everybody to be homeschooling legally. So the fourth is kind of part of that at the end there, is to connect with other homeschooling moms. So if you've asked them about the laws, then you're connecting with them. But this could be in person or online. If you know homeschoolers, reach out to them and say, I'm thinking of doing this. Do you mind having a chat? Or if you know of a homeschool group, ask if you can visit. Can I come visit for your last meeting of the year and see if it's something is a good fit for our family? Maybe it's online. We have a fabulous Facebook group. It's a community of over 3,000 mamas who are just so generous with their experiences and knowledge and wisdom that they share with all of us throughout our conversations there. But anywhere you can find other homeschooling moms, especially other Catholic homeschooling moms, because we do have a worldview and we do have a faith basis that is different than maybe a Christian or Protestant or secular homeschooler. Definitely, whatever resources you can tap into, do so, and try to find those Catholics as well so that you can connect with them. That will give you the opportunity to ask questions, to find resources. Most homeschooling moms are more than happy to help out a newbie and to help you get on your path and make the right decisions for your family. So that's number 4. Number 5 is the hardest and the longest step, and it is to research and choose your curriculum. Now, that might involve looking into homeschooling philosophies and trying to find which is a good fit for you. That might involve looking at books and resources that you could use in your homeschool and deciding whether or not you're going to enroll in a full homeschooling program or you're going to make the program yourself by picking and choosing from different sources. Maybe that just involves looking at your children's interests and figuring out how you can tailor an education to meet their needs and interests through unschooling or a similar approach. So that last step is a big one, but the other 4 are important to put first. A lot of times, new homeschooling moms dive right into looking for curriculum without pausing and making sure that they've got kind of the more important things up front. The prayer, the why you're homeschooling and your goals, the legal information, and connecting with some other moms that you can go to. So when you're researching and choosing curriculum, I have tons of resources on that on my blog and in the Facebook group. There is the Mega Catholic Homeschooling Curricula list that has all the Catholic options available to you, from full enrollment all the way down to pick and choose, to preschool, to single subject areas, etc. But to take the time to look into what's going to be a good fit for your family is my goal with that resource and with this step. To do the research, and there's some quizzes out there that are great for figuring out what your style of homeschooling or what curricula options might be best, what philosophy of education, are you a Charlotte Mason gal or classical or unit studies or unschooler? All of those will help you in your discernment of what to actually do with your kids on a day-to-day basis as you're homeschooling. But the point of me sharing 5 steps is so that you don't miss out on those all-important first 4, because it is so fun to get lost in the rabbit trails of curriculum shopping. And it is very important and vital to your success, I would say, to take those other steps first. So let's review. We want to pray. Start praying, don't stop praying, even through all the curriculum shopping. Keep asking God to help you put the right things in your shopping cart. We want to document and write down our why we are homeschooling and what our goals for homeschooling are, because that will help guide all of those decisions and will help us determine what's the right choice. We want to look at the laws in our state or country if you're out of the United States, and make sure that we're following those as best as we can, or at least are aware of what they are so that we can decide accordingly. And then 4, to connect with other homeschooling moms, preferably Catholic moms, some of them, either in person or online. And we'll talk a little bit more in another episode about how to connect with them and how to find those local homeschoolers to you. And then 5 would be to research and choose your curriculum so that you can plan your year and get started. I have plenty of other resources on my blog at heartofamother.net, if all of this sounds too overwhelming and you just really don't know where to start as far as even these 5 steps, we have consultants available to speak with you at bloomhomeschooling.com that are veteran mamas who love to encourage mamas in all walks of homeschooling and all stages. And I really encourage you to be involved in our Facebook group, even if that's the only reason you are on Facebook, is to gain access to the plentiful wisdom and experience of those mamas there. And that would be facebook.com/groups/heartofamothermoms. So last thing I want to say to you who are newbies, who are deciding whether or not to homeschool or who are just getting started is, yes, you can do this. The Lord gave you these children, and the Lord put this on your heart right now to discern if this is the right thing for your family. And you can most definitely do this for 1 year. You will grow as a daughter of the Lord. Your family will grow, and growing pains are hard. As a family, your relationships will change. And starting out on this path with the mindset that you are doing it for God's glory, that we are praying for guidance and wisdom, is the only way to ensure peace and a successful homeschool year. Thanks for watching. Visit me at heartofamother.net and bless your heart.